you were my joke writer, highlight writer.
Yeah, I was about to say, enough about me. Let's get to Hebsy. So here's how the story begins. So I'm at Ryerson, radio and television arts, second year, and there's a guy named Steph Gagnon, who, like me, is from the Kingston area. And Steph says to me, I'm not a sports guy at all, but you and your friend Cabral Richards, who is now known the world over as Cabbie, right. You guys are a couple of loudmouths over here, a couple of big sports guys. I should try to get you in here at this place called Headline Sports. We're like, oh my God, we'd love to. We're 20 years old, desperate for work. So we go meet a guy named John Melville, who's a very nice guy. And Cabbie's great in the meeting. Hebsy and Mike, you guys know this. The key in life, you got to be great in the meeting. You got to make an impact. Cabbie walks in, I'll do anything. He starts miming a vacuum at some point. he's touching John Melville. And this is Cabbie's great. He just took over his big performance art. And he said, okay. He goes, I'm looking to hire a couple guys. I believe I want to say $12 an hour. I'm like, sure. He's like, 6-hour shifts. I'm like, great. And he goes, you'll be working with a couple guys, Mark Hebsher and Greg Sansone. And of course, we're like, oh no, of course we know Hebsy. Of course, Sports Line. Yes, guy, you got it. Sansone, not familiar, but I'm sure he's a great guy. Okay, sure. He goes, well, let's go out and meet Mark. I'm like, okay. So we go out there, and Mark Hebsher is reading an NHL guide and record book. And Bob Melville walks up and goes, Mark, this is Cabral and Adnan. There are a couple of guys that might be working with you. Hebsy does not look up, does not break focus. Just says, this year, we're on pace to have a points leader of less than 100 points. That has not happened for a long time. Can either of you tell me when that happened? and Cabral looks at me horrified, because Cabbie is a wonderful guy. And he's now become a hockey fan, but he was not a big hockey guy growing up. She looks at me like, Virk, you're going to have to get this one. And I said, we get a hint, and Hebsy says Stas, and I thought he was saying like Stastny, but you were like affecting a Czech accent. So I figured it out. Yeah, exactly. And then I said Stan Mikita, and you go, that's right, 67-68, Stan Mikita with the Blackhawks. I'm like, yeah. And Cubs like, we got it.
And ever since then, your career has just gone on an upward path. Incredible. Since you got Stan Mikita, that was a tough question, Adnan. That was tough, man.
So then the shift actually begins, and the whole shift is I have to go in the different suites, edit blue, edit white, edit green, like Reservoir Dogs, right? You got Mr. Blue, Mr. Pink, okay? Mark Heineken, here's Jason Tom. Great. We go in there, and I get the highlights, and I go and give them the Hebsy. And you were very clear. Go, listen, less is more. Just give me Mark McGuire, home run to left. If there's a nugget or two, great. Do not overwrite this. I can add my own color. I can see what's happening. It's which is a great principle I've used my entire life. When these writers come in and put too much stuff, I can see what's happening. So I think my favorite moment of working with you was we were coming up with nicknames. You go, they got to get some better nicknames in sports. Like, in baseball specifically, because you're a big baseball guy. Like, they got to get some better nicknames. I said, yeah. And you go, and it's the only one I could come up with, but I was so proud. Thank God. You were like, I go, Mark McGuire, Arch Deluxe. And you go, oh, it's pretty good. St. Louis, the Arch Deluxe. I like it. I go, yeah, I gave Mark an extra.
That's right. Big Mac, Arch Deluxe. Yeah, that was beautiful. And then how much do I owe you for that, by the way? It's like a joke. It's like a joke writer thing. It's like, I once wrote a joke for Buddy Hackett. He gave me $5.
Right, exactly. I was thrilled, though, that you actually liked it, and you were great to work with. And the thing is, it was a short stint only because I then had an offer from TSN, because at Ryerson they had a TSN Best Scholarship. You get $6,000 for the year. So, of course, I had to quit. John Melville said, no problem. But I never got to say goodbye to you. And I told Cabral, I said, hey, make sure you tell Hebsy, like, I'm a huge fan of his, like, growing up. And he's like, yeah. So, yeah, I made sure, I'm like, please tell him. I go, what did he say? He goes, that guy's a good guy. Tell him thanks. And hopefully I'll see him down the road. And this many years later, we are now connected. It's great.